Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kivalingu and you are watching Cloud Packages. So in this tutorial we are going to deep dive into the world of continuous integration and continuous deployment, or you can say CI/CD pipeline. So I have one project in Django which is a Nodes app, and I am going to guide you step by step process how to make a CI/CD pipeline of that and do the automation. Have you ever wondered if I am going to change my repository and commit into it, and within a second the live project is changed? So I am going to guide you to do that project. So let's get started. Okay, before moving on the project, let's see one presentation about CI/CD pipeline using Jenkins. So before Jenkins, what people do, the dev team used to commit on the GitHub, then the DevOps team, which they do the manually build, test and deploy. They have to do that manually all the time when the new commit is been changed, and it is going to be more time taking and more riskier. Now with the Jenkins, the task is being automated. So just we have to commit on the GitHub, and after committing on the GitHub, the Jenkins we have to write a Jenkins CI/CD pipeline. So in the Jenkins CI/CD pipeline, the build, test, deploy means execution part is going to be managed by the Jenkins. Just we have to commit on the GitHub, and then rest of the things that are managed by Jenkins. So now we are going to see AWS portal. This is my repository of Nodes app in Django. I have committed it into the GitHub, and we are going to use that. Okay, so now I am going to make a fresh new instance for our project, and I am going to name it like Caves Jenkins project. Okay, and we are going to select Ubuntu. Then in Ubuntu we are going to use the free tier, and I am going to make a new key pair. Key pair's name is Jenkins. Okay, and do the rest of thing as it is. We have 30 GB in the free tier, so I am going to use 15 GB out of that, and just click at launch instance. Okay, wait for a couple of seconds while the instance is created. So we have seen that successfully the instance is created. So click on the instance ID, and the instance state is still pending, so refresh for 1 or 2 times. After a couple of seconds the instance state will be running. Okay, so the state is running, and we have the public ID and all that. So we are going to connect that instance, connect by SSH. So copy this command and go to the terminal, and I have downloaded file into the downloads, so I want to go to that repository. So cd, then downloads. Now if I am going to do ls, so I can see that where is my Jenkins? Here, jenkins.pm. so I have to run this command over here and run this command. Okay, yes, we have successfully connected with our instance. So I'm going to zoom it, and clear. Okay, so this is the fresh instance, and we are going to clone our project here. So this was my repository. To copy that and git clone and paste over here. So this is our Nodes app, and I am going to change the directory to the Nodes app. But before that, let's just update our instance. Okay, so sudo apt get update. It will update our instance. It will take some couple of seconds, so let's just wait for that. Yeah, it's done. And now we will be using Docker, so let's just install Docker. So for installing Docker, sudo apt install docker.io. Okay, so Docker is successfully installed. Now if you want to see the version of Docker, then docker -- version. Okay, so Docker is installed, but if we do the docker ps, then it will show error that permission is denied. Okay, so let's see which user we are. So who am I? It's Ubuntu, and we have to give a rights to the Ubuntu to use the Docker. So for that, sudo usermod, then in append that group, the Docker, into the user. So $user is the variable for user, and do the enter. Now we have changed into the user, so we have to reboot our instance. So sudo reboot. Okay, so it will take a couple of seconds, and after some time we the instance will be rebooted and we can connect that instance. Wait for a couple of seconds and then again try to connect that instance. Let's see. It will take a couple of seconds, and after that we will be connecting our instance. Okay, so instance is our connected, and now do clear. And if I do docker ps, then okay, wait, docker ps, then I can see that docker id, and I don't get any error about the permission. Okay, so now we have here the project of Nodes app. This whole project, we have that Dockerfile and Docker compose. We will see it later. And now just install a Jenkins in our projects. Okay, so just search here Jenkins installation in Ubuntu. We have this documentation. So Jenkins work on Java. So first we will install Java. Okay, here we can see the installation of Java. So just copy these 2 lines and paste over here. Let it be installed. Okay, Java has successfully installed in our in this. So we are going to install the Jenkins, and we will choosing long-term support, not that weekly release, because we want long-term support. So just copy this and paste over here. wait for a couple of seconds to install the Jenkins. Do you know that Jenkins run on 8080 ports? And let's just see our ports. So in this instance, okay, let's just go to our instance. In this instance, go to the security, and in inbound port we can see only 22 port is available, so we can't connect our Jenkins. We have to make that 8080 port available. So go to the security and edit inbound port and add that role for 8080 port. Okay, 8080 for my IP, and save the rule. Now we can connect our instance by Jenkins. Okay, so let's just check over here. Jenkins is installed successfully. If you want to see the status of Jenkins, then service Jenkins and status. Okay, so here we can see that Jenkins is running and active. Now we will connect the Jenkins. Again, go to instance, then this instance. This is the public IP of our instance. Paste over here and port 8080. This is our Jenkins, but first it is locked. We have to unlock it, and the password is stored over here. So copy this password, copy this path, and in terminal just do cd and sudo cat and paste the path over here. Then you can see this password. Copy this password, don't share with anyone. Copy this and paste over here. So now we have to set up a Jenkins. So install suggest plugin, click over here. It will install all the plugins that we require, that the pipelines for GitHub Groovy, we are going to use that, then Gradle for security purpose, then the mailer for the mail regarding purpose, the all required pipeline which is used, we are going to use that install. Then the GitHub branch source, as we can see. Now let's just wait for a couple of seconds while it is installing. So we have to make a user. For username I am going to use Cloud by Caves, and password I am not going to show you. And confirm the password. Full name is Keval Hingu, and the email address. Then save and continue. Okay, so if we want to customize our URL, we can, but now at this time we don't want to customize. Then save and continue. So Jenkins is ready. Start using Jenkins. Okay, this is the basic portal of Jenkins, and the dashboard is here. So if we want to create our new job, so create a job, click here. Then we are going to name our job as Nodes App CICD. Okay, and we are going to use pipeline. So select pipeline and click on the OK. In the description I am going to use this is CI/CD pipeline for my Django Nodes app. Okay, and select here about GitHub project. It's a GitHub project, and in a GitHub URL just paste the GitHub URL which we have here. This is my GitHub URL. Just copy this URL and paste over here. In advance, display the names, and we can display the name like Django notes, or it's optional if you want to do that or not. And in a build trigger, we are going to use a GitHub hook trigger for git scan. So if we are going to make any changes on GitHub, then it will reflect over here. So check this, and this is the main part. At the pipeline script, we are going to make the script for pipeline. So the first I'm going to, okay, let's just zoom. I'm going to write a pipeline. This function is here, and in pipeline we are going to use the agent. Any means anyone can use this Jenkins, okay? And we have some stages in this pipeline, so we are going to define the stages. So stages and stage, there are basically 4 stages: code, then build, then we are going to push that repository to Docker up and deploy. So code, okay, I am going to make 4 stages first. Code, then build. In the build section, we are going to build the project for Docker, and here push to Docker up, and after pushing Docker up, we are going to deploy the project. Okay, in the stages we are going to define the steps, and for now I'm just going to do the echo, means just writing that steps to demonstrate. Cloning the code from GitHub, okay, and do the same for rest of all. I'm just demonstrating you, and after that we will go into the deep. Okay, so here building the Docker file, and here pushing image to the Docker hub, and after that the code is deploying. Okay, so this is the basic pipeline of our GitHub of our project. So save this. After saving, we will go to the stages, and in the stages just do build. Okay, yeah, wait for the couple of seconds and the build will start. Yes, the build has completed. If you want to see, then click over here and check the console. Okay, it will show us the project that it has success in 18 seconds. In the code segment, we can see the code, cloning from the code, then build, the printing messages, building to Docker file, and the pushing image into Docker hub, and then deploy. And if we want to see the console output, then view the classic console. In here we can see the project, means the pipeline is started here, and then running on the Jenkins. After that we will cloning the code from GitHub and pushing image into the Docker hub, then deploying, and the success. Okay, now we are going to do the changes in our CICD pipeline. So go to the configure. Okay, so now we are going to edit our pipeline. I'm going to zoom it so you can see the clearly, and make it a little long. Okay, yeah. So in the code which we are getting from the GitHub, so here, okay, here we are going to run a command like git then url. In the url we are going to paste the url of our GitHub, that is this, not this, this is our url. Okay, so copy this and paste over here, then do the comma and branch. Why this is getting error? Because we have to make it in the semicolon, double inverted comma, not from here, from here to here. Okay, and the branch, which branch we have? The main branch. So write main over here. Unexpected token, it will be removed. Okay, not to worry. Now we have write the code of cloning the code from GitHub for building the Dockerfile. We are going to write for sh, for shell scripting, and do docker build -t. Then I'm going to write my note app. You can do anything you want, it's just a name, and dot. Okay, so this is the command which we are going to run in the terminal. If you want to see, then I can show you. Our instance is disconnected, so we have to connect it, and if you run over here, then it will say that docker is an docker build. Okay, we will get the unable to prepare context file, so it's just an error. For this error we have configured the docker with in the previous command, for before the reboot, the docker is connected with the user but not with Jenkins, so we have to configure it with Jenkins. Okay, so do this with Jenkins, and again we have to reboot this, the sudo reboot. Now wait for a couple of seconds and till it is rebooting. So we are not able to write over here, it will not save, so let it be reboot. Do the refresh and check it is rebooted or not. Okay, now it might be rebooted, so try to connect again. It will take a couple of seconds. Okay, so our instance is connected successfully, and now if I run that docker build command, yeah, I have to go to that repository. So what was the name of our repository? Nodes, cd nodes app, and now I am going to build. So you can see the build has started. Okay, but we don't want here to the build, we want build at Jenkins. So let's just move to the Jenkins. That was just to show and demonstrate you. Okay, you don't require to do the build over here. And now just save this process, like cloning the code from GitHub and the building just Dockerfile. Okay, so save it, and for pushing it Docker we will do it further, but let's for now just save this. And in the stages just do build. Okay, so wait a couple seconds, within a second the pipeline will be started. Okay, so pipeline is started. Just click over here pipeline ID, and you can see over here the building process is running, and in the console also you can see the build process. So the build is deployed. Okay, so it is done. And if you want to see the classic output, so the pipeline was started, then pushing the code. Okay, it is just running, and this is our GitHub URL. So cloning this repository. After cloning, this is a Docker build. After Docker build, it has downloaded the required files and successfully built. Then it tagged my name latest and it succeed. Then pushing to Docker up and deploying. This part will be covered after that, and success. Okay, so now we are going to push it to the Docker up. So for that I have to log into my Docker up. This is my Docker up. I have logged in, and what is my user ID? So Kevalingu. I will be using it, so remember this. Okay, now back on the terminal. In the terminal, run this docker login. So you can see the username. So I have shown you the username Kevalingu, and the password I will not tell you. Oh, I forgot my password. So I think let's just try. Okay, I remembered it. Login succeeded. So by this we can log in, but at here, if I do that, like Docker login, and then I have to write here my password also, so everyone can see my password over here. If I want to do that secretly, then there is a command, like in the dashboard, go to manage Jenkins. Okay, in the manage Jenkins you can see in the security there is a credentials. In this credentials I can enter my ID password of that. Okay, so go to the system and go to the global credentials. Now add the credentials over here. It's a username and password, so make it as default, and the scope is in a global Jenkins we can use it. So username is Kevalingu and the password is something, and ID. So how you are going to use that in the script? So ID is important, so make that ID like Docker up, and the description, this is my Docker hub credential. Okay, and create. Okay, so Docker hub ID is Docker hub, and it's created username and password. This is my Docker hub credential. Now it has been saved. Now again go to the dashboard, then in the notes app CICD, and in the configure. Okay, just scroll down, and here is our script. So for script, push, here we want to make a new step like with credentials. After that, here with credentials, in this credential I have to define like username and password. Okay, so username, password, and again in the bracket we are going to use the credential ID. What was the ID? Docker hub. Okay, so in double inverted comma write Docker hub and password variable. It's a Docker, means we are just creating here a variable. Password variable is Docker hub pass, and username variable is just a Docker user, Docker hub user. Okay, we have made that, and in the script just do a simple thing to log out, and you can see here in these credentials we can run this Docker login and -u. Now we don't have to write a username and password, just do this sign. Okay, yeah, wait. Do this sign and do this curly bracket, and in the curly bracket we will just do environment dot Docker hub user, means variable we have created a Docker hub user. So this is our variable, select it and paste over here. Okay, and in password we can do also this. Password is dollar, then this curly braces and env dot Docker hub password, which I have shown you here. Okay, and after that we have to push it into the Docker hub. So before pushing we have to tag our image like username slash the image name. Okay, so sh, then do Docker tag. What was the name of my file? My notes app. So copy this and paste over here. Okay, now we are going to tag it, so by the username, so copy the username slash then this name, copy and paste over here. Okay, where is the inverted comma? No problem. Yes, paste over here and tag it as latest. Now we are going to push that image into Docker hub. So sh, then Docker push this image. So copy this and paste over here. Okay, so this was the code for pushing into the Docker. Now we will run this. So save this, and in the build click on the build now and go to the stages. Now you can see the pushing on the Docker hub is running. Okay, so it failed over here, so checks the script over here, and we can see that docker tag, it has tagged docker tag to argument. Okay, docker tag require exactly 2 argument. Okay, now again go to the configure and see what we have done there here. Okay, so now just save this and again build code. It is pushing to the Docker up. Okay, yes, it has done. So if we see over here, so this was my Docker hub, and we can't see any new image over here. But if we refresh here, so now this is my new node app. Okay, so it has successfully tagged to the Docker hub, and we can see the tag latest over here. Okay, so this is my image, and now we will just finish up the last part, which is deploying. So I will show you the Docker compose file. Okay, so this is my repository, and in the Docker file it has successfully built, so it is running on 800 port, so remember this. And I have made a Docker compose file. So in a Docker compose file, this is the image like Kevalingu my app latest, which we have deployed over here. Okay, so I am going to just write Docker compose up, and it will combine the 8000 port with our system's 8000 port, and it will going to run the app. So let's just try that. Again go to the nodes app CICD and go to the configure. Okay, for deploying I just have to write a one simple command sh. Then we are going to use the Docker compose. So Docker compose up -d. By this I can deploy my site, but if the 8000 port has taken by another process, so what we will gonna do? So by the end I am going to write here a Docker compose down. So अगर कोई भी प्रोसेस ने 800 पोर्ट को 800 पोर्ट यूज़ कर रही है तो वो डाउन हो जाएगा, और हमारा डॉकर कंपोज जो है वो अप हो जाएगा. मतलब वी डोंट दैट प्रोसेस डोंट बॉदर अस. ओके, सो दिस इज द फाइनल, and for the Docker compose we have to run the environment like this. We are using the Docker API 1.41. okay, so after the agent just write here environments. It's optional, but I like to prefer this Docker API version 1.41. if you don't write this, it's okay. Okay, and now just save this and build that, and go to the stages. Here the new stage has been generated. Okay, pushing to the Docker hub, and in deploy has failed. Okay, so let's just see what has done here. Docker compose not found. Okay, so we have to install the Docker compose, but our instance has disconnected, so connect that instance. Sudo apt install Docker compose. It will install a Docker compose into our system. Yeah, it has installed successfully. Now just clear this and again just run this rebuild. Okay, where the build has started. This was build 5 and we will going to search for build 6. Yeah, the build 6 has started. Go to the stages. Again it failed. Okay, I got it. Now go to the computer. There was a problem in my EC2, so I have to reboot it. And as I am using EC2 T2 Micro, and it's free, so it has some limited RAM. So sometimes we have to reboot it twice or thrice. But after some reboot, just save this and try to build that. The problem will be solved. So let's just now close that. It is slow because we are using T2 Micro. You have to keep some patience. And just copy this ID, okay, and in stages wait for couple of seconds because it's slow. As I have said, we are using free T2 micro. And now click on the build, and now new build has started. Code and build and push to Docker Hub, and now deploying is deploying. Wait for a couple of seconds. Yes, it has deployed. So if we try to here paste that URL, not this, okay, this paste over here and 800. Now you can see this is running. Okay, and try to is run successfully. Okay, and save this. This runs successfully. This is just a basic website of in a Django, which is built in Django. And now this app runs successfully. But if you want to configure our Docker, okay, our GitHub, then there is a slightly change. We have to copy this URL, and in the GitHub, there is a set in settings. There is an option of uh, webhooks, and we have to add webhook over here. For that, I have to enter my password. And payload in a payload URL we are going to paste over here, and after slash. Now I have configured this URL into the GitHub webhook, and just try over here to update and see in the webhook. Yes, it has a green tick. So we have here build, And in the in my repository, if I am trying to change anything, let's just say cloud by gives, we will edit this. Okay, so in the my notes app, then uh, in the build we have index.html, and we are going to edit it. Cloud by gives, that is cloud by gives is best. Okay, and we are going to come, yes, stay over here, keep your eye over here, and we are going to commit the changes, updated, and commit the changes. Okay, it is committing, is saved over here. Keep your eye over here. It will start a new pipeline. Just wait for a few seconds. Yes, automatically it has connected the 13 pipeline. Okay, I haven't done anything and I haven't clicked over here. Just see that it is deploying. So wait and deploy it. Okay, so if I just refresh over here, I can see the cloud by queues is best. Okay, so when I am going to commit a new change into the GitHub repository in the main branch, then the code is being changed into the live project. This was the whole project about the CI/CD pipeline. Hope you have liked it.